I threw this stat out yesterday. Curious for your thoughts on it. In 12 personnel this season, through 6 games, Bills are averaging 3.44 yards per carry in 12 personnel. In 11 personnel, they're averaging 5.12 yards per carry. Almost 2-yard difference in 11 personnel. Does that surprise you at all?
A little bit.
You look at me, man. I ain't helping you.
No. It doesn't.
No?
But
Okay.
then
Did you ever run any out of 11 personnel?
right.
He ran like for 10,000 yards.
Right.
10,500 of my 12,000 yards were in 11 personnel.
And I was mostly in the I formation.
That's
Yeah.
right too. Jim was not under center all the time, was he? He was under shotgun a lot. wasn't
Jim was in the shotgun a lot. I think when our first couple of years of running the no huddle, the K gun,
Yeah.
and then
And
I think
then-
after that,
he? Why did he go back under center? You
yeah, it
remember?
went back under center more than he usually did. Like the first couple of years, I think.
Interesting.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I sense history repeating itself.
Do you really?
Yeah,
That
Josh
is true.
will go under center a lot
He
after
what?
being in shotgun so much. Josh will start going under. They're basically clamoring for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it takes the element away of a half a second of him snapping the ball, him keeping his eyes focused on the football, and then looking up. You go under center,
Yeah, it's not nothing.
right? Exactly.
But they do
second.
turn their back when
That
they take
half
it under
second.
center, too, if they're going to.
Well, they turn sideways and
True, but I mean,
They
it
can-
could be depending on formation.
Yeah.
If you're looking at that, if you got 3 wides over here and you got, well, obviously you're going to look over here and not really kind of worry
Right.
about the back. So, I don't know. I think this will be a fun game to figure out if we can do that. And I think if we do, it has to be early in the game. We can't wait to do it the third quarter. I think at least for the next 2 games, because I think those 2 games are winnable. New England and the Bucks, even though the Bucks are what, 3-1, or 4-1, or 3-2.
I don't know, 3-2.
I haven't even
think they're
looked.
3-2.
And their defense
I'll
is
tell you,
pretty
it's
good.
good defense.
It's a good defense,
Yep.
but yeah, I would love to see it. Now, are they going to do it? I have no idea. I'm sure they hear the rumblings of
Right.
what we're talking about, but no, it's up to Ken Dorsey, man, and Sean McDermott if they want to do that. I would love to see in all this. I would love to see James Cook a little bit more involved in the passing game.
Yeah, I was talking about that. Just the simple swing stuff, just to get him out in space, just like those swing passes.
Yeah.
I mean, they've hit him on checkdowns underneath in the middle of the field.
Which is
But I
great,
want-
just like a
right, but
handoff,
I want
yeah.
him kind of out on the edges, making people miss because he
Yeah.
can do that.
Because he can do that.
Yeah.
And the thing I think about with him is that, you saw a lot of, talked to Murray yesterday, and, he got a lot more playing time than he normally would get
Yeah, with Damian Harris down.
with Damian Harris down. And so he was like a little sore yesterday. We're out here for the community food bank
Yep,
out
yep,
here.
yep,
and he
yep.
was like, yeah, I'm a little sore because I got a little bit more than what I'm used to getting. So, but I tell you what, having him and James Cook, I mean, when was the last time we seen a screenplay? I mean, we haven't run a screenplay. I don't know
Yeah,
how.
we were having that conversation with Dan Orlovsky. He says, I'd like to see him run screen.
I like to
He
run
said they
screen.
should work on it for the next 2 months so they have it in their back pocket for the playoffs. But we were trying to tell Dan they've been trying to run a screen game for 4 years.
4 years, they
and it
can't
hadn't
do it.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
By the way-
why. I don't know what the stumbling block is there, but whether they can't time it up,
Right.
block it up, whether it takes too long to develop. Like, there's been all kinds of issues with the screen game when they've tried to utilize the last
and
few years.
We love the screen game.
Yeah,
we
worked
ran
for
it
you,
a
yeah.
lot. I mean, and I think it, even with House Ballard, and Will
big-
Wolford on big guys, and so I don't know. Look,
It's hard to run because the offensive line is so important, and if they got to act like they're getting beat and then get out front of it, and it's timing, and it's also really dependent on what they're running, zone or man. If it's man coverage, somebody got to get the guy covering the back, right? And that's hard to find because the guy sees it.
Yeah.
And then, if it's zone, you got to make sure you don't run down the field before the ball's thrown, and you got to make it look good. And plus, if it's zone blitz, somebody's dropping out, and you try and block the guy that's dropping out. Now you're had. You're done. So it's hard to run. It's a really complicated play because there's a little deception in it that you need to work. Plus, all 5 guys on the offensive line have to know zone man in the cover. Forget about the guys rushing. They got to know zone man in the secondary so they know if somebody got to pick that guy up who's got the back man, or if they're zoning it off, who's got the middle curl route, So it's complicated. I get it, and it takes a lot of work.
It is complicated, but it shouldn't be that complicated if you're looking at who's rushing the passer over at the tackle.
Yeah.
That's a huge key. If it's Von Miller, I'm going to try to get him with a couple of screens. If it's 3rd and long, if we're going to be an attempt to run a screen. Yeah, I'm looking at Von Miller like this is a perfect time to do this because he's 3rd and 10. He's coming.
He's blasting his
way. Yeah, he's not looking for a draw or anything like that. He's looking for that quarterback. Yeah. And that would be but who are those rushers?
Right.
I don't think I don't know.
I don't know well, New England's best rusher's out. He's on IR, Mike Judon,
right. He's on IR. So I don't know.
So Josh Uche?
Yeah, it could be a defensive back. Who knows? It could be a defensive end. I don't know. But I would really like to see them work on that screenplay a lot more because it does help your football team.
Yeah, but Tampa Bay's 3-2, by the way. They just came out of their bye, so they only played 5 games. They lost to the Lions this last week and got thumped pretty good, 20-6. So
Lions are good.
They got thumped pretty good.
Lions are good.
The Lions are. I thought you said, why is it good? No. Yeah, the Lions are good.
That's another.
That's another story. And
let them stay in the NFC.
It's one of Steve's most hated franchises.
I don't hate them. I just don't respect them.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
They stunk for 5 or 6 decades, and now they don't for a minute.
And I've always said, having that and not having, and having probably 2 of the best, if not one of the best players of all time on their team, and they didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson and Barry
Sanders. Yeah. So
and Matt Stafford is no slouch.
Right. Yeah. So I get you on that.
That's right.
Steve's funny. You should hear his conversation.
Yeah, I know.
The NFC North. It's very
NFC North. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Detroit and Chicago chiefly.
That's why Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers are in the Hall of Fame.
Because they played in the NFC North.
If they'd been in the NFC East, they'd be Dak Prescott.
At best.
Maybe not that bad. But I'm not saying that Dak's bad either, but they wouldn't have been those guys. They're playing twice against Minnesota, who's like, okay. All right, and Chicago. For goodness sake, Chicago.
And Detroit. For all those years.
For all those years, right?
Come on.
You know what? I've never actually really thought about
that.
Come on.
Yep.
Wow.
Come on, man.
Chicago hasn't had a quarterback in forever.
That's where quarterbacks go to die.
Detroit didn't have a quarterback forever.
Even when they get
one, they got Stafford.
You tell me how they messed up with Stafford and Megatron on their team.
Yeah,
how do you mess that up?
I think they only made the playoffs.
How do you mess that up?
Wow. Boy.
Well,
I'm still here, guys.
I'll say this. Look at Atlanta. Atlanta's got Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and they had Calvin Ridley, but they didn't have a quarterback. So a lot of talent there, too. Desmond Ritter's in trouble.
This is a hard game because here's the thing about this New England game for the Bills. Getting back on track.
Yeah.
They always scare me because they're really well coached, always well coached, well prepared. They have not been able to put it together this year. No. Neither had the Giants, and they almost did it against us, the Bills. The Giants, we had people calling in the show saying, and you could kind of see it, this Bills game on Monday night was their game of the year. They played as well as they played against anybody
all season.
Against Buffalo.
It was because of their coach. But go ahead, yeah.
That's what I'm afraid happens with Patriots in their building, 1 o'clock on Sunday. I think they're going to rise up. Well, it's a division game.
Look, I've been thinking about it since, I guess, a couple of days ago. And the only thing that it really reminded me of the first time that I thought about it 12-3, 1988. We playing the Colts. The Colts probably won 2 or 3 games that year. We go down and get beat by the Colts. Last game of the season, Cincinnati and us flipped the #1 seed. We would get
Oh,
the
that's
number 2.
right. You know why? We're getting off the plane on the tarmac in Indianapolis.
Sparked a memory here, Thurman.
Oh yeah, I mean
Cincinnati's
it's
playing
all there.
Washington. Cincinnati's playing Washington. If Cincinnati loses, we can't lose the 1 seed. Goes to overtime, and Chip Miller of the Washington Redskins, in overtime, Chip shot to win it, and he doinks it. We're watching it on a screen, a TV screen that's literally 1 inch by 1 inch, one of the little with an antenna. We're watching it on the air. We're like 6 guys around a TV screen that is the size of a postage stamp, and he doinks it. We just got off the plane, the charter flight in Indianapolis. We're like, so now and that's where it was. Now we got to play.
Now we got to play.
Well, it's
right?
too late in the week to decide that. So
Now
we
have
get
to
beat by
play.
we get
got
beat
beat
by
the
Indianapolis.
Colts. Yeah. But this is kind of what that game is right
Yeah.
now.
Patriots
I mean,
are-
Belichick. I mean, look, we don't know if Belichick is going to be gone or is he going to stay. But
There
you
is
know
some
what?
of that chatter going on.
There
up
is
there
some
now.
of that chatter. But for him to be the defensive coordinator, to put together a game plan, I mean, could you say, like, see, I can still do it?
Yeah.
Well,
But I
right.
don't.
They don't.
But I don't think so.
Yeah, they
I
just
don't think
have
so.
the
They
horse.
need
I know.
some
No,
guys.
we need it. I mean,
They need some guys.
hey, look.
I mean,
if,
two of
if
their most.
if you got to get motivated by whatever when you get out on the field, talk trash or whatever to let them know it's going to be a long day, that you're going to have no shot. You have to start right when you get off that bus to the stadium.
Yeah.
That's the mindset. You just have to have
get it.
that no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah.
Somebody, I mean,
You're
and
right.
look, somebody has to
can't
step
be-
up.
you
We've
can't be-
been throwing it's Josh and Steph. Great combination. Love it. I mean, they're clicking. But somebody else has to step up. A tight end, a running back. Somebody.
You can't go scoreless for 3 quarters. In a game
You
like
cannot. You cannot.
because they get harder to beat and you get easier to beat.
Matthew Judon, Christian Gonzalez, both out indefinitely for the Patriots. There are some names on the defensive side of the ball, but that's 2 of their most gifted athletes physically, Thurm. That doesn't help a defense that has had trouble stopping people.
Yeah, I mean, and you probably don't even know the names of the 2 guys that have played for them in the past couple of games, right?
Well, I mean, they did, well, once Gonzalez got hurt,
Right.
that's when the Patriots traded to get J.C. Jackson
J.C.
back from the
that's
Chargers.
right, yes. I
So they
remember that.
tried to
Okay.
fill a hole that way via trade. And, I mean, they have Josh Uche, who, for the most part, has been more of a situational pass rusher than a full-time player, but he's playing more now. Not a big guy, though. There's a guy you can run at. He's undersized pass rusher. You want to run right at him. That's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be one of those games, man, where we're just going to have to come out and just we can't do what we did against the Giants on the first couple of drives. No, I mean, at least pick up 2 or 3 first downs to get into a rhythm, to do whatever. I like, you know, Josh is now on the injury list, but you know, whatever that is. I mean,
Well, he said it's nothing.
he said it's
today,
nothing,
yeah.
right? But I'm just saying, though, you know what?
Let me,
If we have to, you know, let Josh be Josh again, let him be Josh again. Because we haven't really seen too much of the scrambling. He's kind of looking to maybe
Well,
throw it away or get the big play.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear it's been drilled into his head to not run. Now, maybe that changes when you get to the postseason and you have some design runs and you say, hey, do whatever you got to do, and we see him running like he used to. I don't think they're signing up to do that for the first 17 games of the regular season.
He didn't have to do that. We're talking over the course of we're 4-2. Over the course of those 6 games, you're talking maybe 4 or 5 maybe plays.
Right.
4 or 5 over the course of 6 games. That's all you're talking about. That's not the old Josh. He's talking about the old Josh was running 4, 5, 6 extra times and a half. All you needed was maybe 4 or 5 plays over the course of those 6 games to make a big difference in them. And 3 of those games you didn't need it.
Right.
2 of them it might have made a difference. And that's it. So it's not like we're talking about transformative or that they got to talk to Josh about running. No. He's got to make the play that's there to be made. Because we see that, like, this touchdown to Quentin Morris.
That's a Josh Allen.
That's
play.
a Josh Allen.
That's a Josh Allen. But ain't nobody coaching him up to do that. Right? So
yeah. I get
just
it.
he's fine. And this whole offense is fine. They just
I
got to
think they're
execute
fine.
higher. Like
Yeah.
this last game against the Giants. So Josh makes all these plays. We're watching the highlights as we talk for our radio listeners. We're watching some of these highlights. And Josh is throwing this thing to Quentin Morris. He's shaking off a 300-pound guy on a tackle. He's running out to his right, throwing about crosses. All of this stuff he's doing. Then you get into the third down in the fourth quarter. He rolls out. All he got to do is throw a 10-yard pass to Dawson Knox, and he can't do it. And Dawson Knox is sliding down backwards trying to catch a ball 6 inches off the ground. Just do that. I mean, that's why
Plays there to be made.
Ken Dorsey's up there banging his head on his surface, and because he calls the perfect play to ice the game, and two of his best, most trusted offensive players on both ends of it
Can't execute it.
doink it.
Yeah.
So this team is really good offensively and defensively. They're going to continue to be really good in crucial moments, and this is why the Patriot game scares me. The Patriots have always crushed the Bills in those crucial moments. They're situationally very aware.
Yeah.
And sometimes the Bills have not been. Like that third down play against the Giants that would have iced it. Like the Hail Murray over the course of these last, 5 or 6 years. The Hail Murray comes to mind. The 13 seconds comes to mind. All these moments where you come on, bro.
And I can't change your mind by telling you that the Patriots have scored 20 points in their last 3 games combined. That
Hey,
can't
look.
change. That doesn't change your
If them-
mind at all.
If them guys don't know in that locker room that they owned us for 20 years, and now it's been kind of flipped, it's been going our way.
20 points in 3 games.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
We know the Patriots do things differently, guys. What are your thoughts on this? On a 53-man roster, the Patriots have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 quarterbacks. 4 on their 53-man roster. Mac Jones, Malik Cunningham, Will Grier, and Bailey Zappi.
Will Greer, is that from West Virginia?
Yes, they picked him up a few weeks back
Right.
off waivers, I want to say. And, they signed him as a free agent. But this Malik Cunningham kid is
He
a
might
dual
play all
threat
3 of
guy.
them.
Well, Malik Cunningham got in briefly last week against the Raiders. Tried to run like some kind of wildcat stuff. Neither of the plays worked. They both blew up. But they need other options. And now the Bills have to prepare for that guy. Whether he's going to run wildcat or whether he's going to come in and play 10 plays, 5 plays, 3 plays. It's something extra they got to prepare for now because it's on tape. It's there. Does it mean a hill of beans? Probably not.
Well, it means something.
It means something, right?
It means they're really desperate to generate any sort of offense. Now they've got to have a little faith in maybe the defensive side of their ball to hold teams down, at least to 20 or mid-teens to mid-20 points. Yeah. If they can do that, that gives them a chance. And so they got to feel like if they get any kind of spark, get a free touchdown here or there, or maybe keep a drive alive, they got to do it. That's where they're at. They're 1-5.
But let me ask you my question. On a roster that is so starved for legitimate talent, how the hell do you justify 4 quarterbacks on a 53-man roster when 3 of them can barely play?
Yeah.
It's bad.
Somebody's got to help me with that
That's
math.
a lot of guys. That's a lot of.
Does that make any sense to you? Doesn't make sense to me.
It's either one or it's like 2 roster spots that you could use for another position.
And they need help.
They need help everywhere.
Yeah. Juju Smith.
That makes no sense.
They've got Juju Smith-Schuster, who missed last week with a concussion. He's back on the practice field. And then it's interesting in the release that I read, they didn't even name the guys that are the new. They have 2 new guys on their practice field, number 52 and number 34. That's it. No names.
Maybe
Defensive lineman number 52 and number 34, who's with the tight ends. They don't know who they. I don't know who
Wait a
they
minute.
are, but that's who they were.
would we ever criticize Belichick for tanking?
I don't know if he wants to tank because he may not have a job if he does. They haven't made the playoffs in 5 years.
Has it been that long?
No,
Five-
no, 3
No,
years.
no. They just played us in a
2 years. 2 years ago they played.
No, they got knocked out last year. We
No,
beat them in
2 years.
week 17.
Yeah,
they got
but
knocked out.
the year before that was the perfect game.
21.
21.
Yeah.
So it has
2
been that
years.
long.
Okay.
But it's starting to look.
They haven't won a playoff game in 5 years.
It is
That's what it
starting
is.
to
They haven't
look-
won a playoff game.
It's starting to look ominously like Bill Belichick may, if he hangs around long enough, be the winningest head coach in NFL football, but he might be the first
He might
get
be
to the losing.
losing
too,
is
right?
too.
Yeah.
He's closer to the most losses
he's
than
only-
he is to the most wins.
And that's-
8 away from
And
that.
that's the note we want to finish on. The Bills
Yeah.
do not want to lose this week because if they do, it will be Bill Belichick's 300th victory of his career. You don't want to be that team.
You don't want to be that team. No, you don't want to be. And you know what? We're scared, but I'm a little nervous. But I think
I'm not scared.
It can't be. It can't be with this offense. Go 3 games in a row and look the way they look.
Right.
It just cannot happen.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah. Come on. I mean, after the first week, we were talking about what's wrong with Josh. What's wrong with the offense? And then they scored 30 points in the next 3 games or whatever, and
40 points.
Yeah,
30,
and then
40.
now it's
37,
2
38,
back-to-back
40.
games where the offense has had a slow start. Come on, these
And
guys.
I'll
These
say
guys
this
gotta
too:
be
it has
ready.
been
I
a
think
slow
they're gonna be
start. They
ready.
have had moments in both those games, but they started slow. No
Yeah,
question.
they started
So,
slow. Yeah.
Back to the Stormtrooper look as well this week. All whites, which the last time they wore that, they scored 37 points in Washington on the road.
I like it.
So hopefully that continues. Thurman, thanks for stopping by.
right,
Enjoy the game on Sunday.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be watching you on Instagram, see what jersey you're going to have on. Do you have white jerseys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
got a
So you may have
couple
to
of
pull out the white. Got
I
to pull
might
out the
have
white
to.
this week.
I got you.